What's going on, everybody? Josh Callaway here, SI Sooner Journal, alongside by John Hoover, Ryan Chapman at Gaylor Family. Oklahoma Memorial Stadium, where the Sooners got back on track. They knocked off Iowa State on Saturday, 28-21. Defense was fantastic. Again, felt a lot like the early part of the season. Nebraska, West Virginia, that's kind of how this game felt on this Saturday, on this senior day, as the Sooners get the win that they had to have. 10-1, and now it's, again, all out in front of them. Bedlam next week. You win that, you're going to be playing for a Big 12 title the week after that, very possibly against that same Oklahoma State team. We'll talk about that a lot here in due time. But as far as this game, guys, defense, hello. Alex Grinch's group was really good again, was pretty good in Baylor, was really good today. Won the game for him. I mean, what can you say?
It did. It won the game for him. The play of the year possibly is Jalen Redmond's scoop and score 42-yard touchdown run.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was a hit from Key Lawrence that dislodged that football as the Cyclones are trying to get in the end zone at the end of the first half. 7 free points for Oklahoma. It's like, where did that come from? Nobody was expecting anything like that. Jalen Redmond picks it up and takes it to the house. The Oklahoma defense had 11 tackles for loss, 7 quarterback sacks. They held Breece Hall to 58 yards rushing, and that was as big as anything because when he goes over 100, they win the football game typically. This was a game that had 3 takeaways. Here's the deal. They knocked Brock Purdy out of the game, knocked him out of the game. I thought he was done with a concussion. He went to the locker room. He got evaluated. They're talking to him on the bench. He's sitting there just kind of enjoying the sunshine. It looks like he's waiting for a bus. And, you know, the next thing you know, he's back in the game and he's throwing touchdown passes. They let him on 2 late drives. But, guys, 38 minutes of time of possession for Iowa State's offense, and it was the Oklahoma defense that came in and was called on to win the game. When the offense had to have another 3 and out and punt it back to him in the final minutes, it was the defense that came on and got that last turnover.
Yeah, Brock Purdy was punished today. Obviously, that Perrion Winfrey hit, the headliner, just killed. I mean, absolutely flattened him.
Murdered.
And that was not the only hit. He took a lot on Saturday. Was lucky to still be, well enough to finish the game, but did miss some time, like John said. Now, Ryan, who referenced it, that Jalen Redmond play, the turnovers, all of them were key, in their own way. But that Jalen Redmond play, season-saving, I mean, you don't want to overrate it too much, but I mean, it was 7-7. Iowa State's going in to take the lead before half. And it just totally flipped the entire game. Unbelievable play by the big man, hustling down there and finishing it off with a touchdown.
Yeah, absolutely. In the live blog during the game, which if you're not on the site, allsooners.com, get in there. I said that Key Lawrence saved the Oklahoma season, and I believe that because as much as we're going to talk about Jalen Redmond here in a second, Delarian Turner-Yale in the postgame gave Key Lawrence a ton of credit. He was the guy out there, slotted in at corner, realized that Purdy's trying to create outside the pocket, and Delarian Turner-Yale basically said before the game that they talked about it all week. Brock Purdy loves to pump fake, so stick with it, and you'll be able to make a play because that pump fake leads to some so-so ball security. He did exactly that. Key Lawrence triggered, and he just put his hat on the ball. It's about as textbook as you could. Jalen Redmond then said that he was thinking about that missed opportunity in the Tulane game. Like he said, that actually ran through my mind. He just wanted to pick it up, and he said he was looking at the video board just hoping that he was running fast enough because he said, I think I hit my top speed. I couldn't have gone any more. Yeah. Key Lawrence, the convoy, helped him along, made sure that neither of the linemen got back to him. And look, after the game, Kenny Brooks was very happy with the running style, was very complimentary of Jalen Redmond's high knees, the ball security, the whole 9 yards. No, so it was one of those momentum-changing plays, really lifted the sideline, and it punctuated what was a return of Jalen Redmond to the form he had before he got hurt. Remember, this defensive line was wreaking havoc through those first few games, mainly because you were getting penetration from Jalen Redmond and Perrion Winfrey on the interior, allowing Benito and Isaiah Thomas to really pin their ears back on the edge. That's exactly what happened today. You talk about the interceptions. The second one was created because Jalen Redmond flattened the Iowa State quarterback, letting that kind of sail and stay in bounds instead of going out. So big day for Jalen Redmond, and look, this OU defense is going to have to play like that next week. Oh, yeah. And they need to be firing on all cylinders because we're about to talk about, the offense. Yikes.
Yeah, offense didn't have it. Defense definitely did, carried the day. Heck of performance from Jalen Redmond, and Lincoln Riley talked about in postgame that he's felt like in the past, Jalen Redmond just, as he plays throughout a year, gets better and better and better. You feel that right now. It feels like ever since he came back from his injury, he just slowly has become a bigger and bigger impact on the game, and he was huge today on Saturday, of course. Now, offensively, not great. It was similar to last week in a lot of ways. Better, obviously. They got into the end zone a couple more times, but Caleb Williams struggled again. He was held under 100 yards passing, had the big run, but overall kind of a so-so day for for Mr. Williams.
This is, I don't know, concerning is the right word. You're seeing a lot of room for growth. You're seeing a lot of growth in his game.
Yeah.
He's 8 of 18 today. I think 86 yards passing, something like that. He had the 74-yard touchdown run and finished with 67 yards net rushing, meaning he went backwards on every other snap. He was sacked 4 times, and this is the concerning part, is that when he drops to pass, and Lincoln Riley said Iowa State does it. A lot of people try to, I guess, mimic that drop 8 defense that they do, a 3-man rush, but nobody does it like Iowa State. And the fact of the matter is, we saw 4 years ago now Baker Mayfield out here doing the same thing, dropping and looking around. Who do I throw the football to? That was Baker Mayfield in his Heisman season, his 5th year in college football. So we saw it today from Caleb Williams in his first year of college football. So maybe a little bit of patience, let him grow through this. It's a difficult day to, as Lincoln Riley said in the postgame press conference, you drop back to pass, you send 5 receivers out thinking that's going to be enough, and what do? They've got 8 defensive backs and linebackers back there covering. He didn't know where to go with the football. It's a little concerning. Oklahoma's leading receiver today had 2 catches. So they're going to have to pick that up. Lincoln said the throw game was not good. It was below average, whatever terminology he used, said it was not good. So it's got to get better. The Iowa State defense comes to play. They come to hit. They get after the quarterback. You saw a sack right here in the end zone that Anton Harrison scoops up and gets out of the end zone. Might have been one of the plays of the day for sure. Oklahoma State gets after the quarterback at a much higher rate next week than Iowa State does.
Yeah, this is why we've talked about it before, but this is true. Freshman quarterbacks don't hardly ever play. This is part of it, growing pains and playing against these good defenses. There was a couple nice passes in there. Obviously, the touchdown to Mario Williams. Marvin Mims had that big one on a scoring drive. But, yeah, a lot of room for growth still for Caleb Williams, and it doesn't get any easier at all. Oklahoma State is bringing one of the best defenses in the country next weekend. Now, the nice part here, Ryan, is that they did run the ball. Last week they weren't passing or running. That's obviously a recipe for disaster. Today they at least ran the ball. Kenny Brooks looked good. Eric Gray got some nice runs. Great to see.
Yeah, they got going enough, and it was weird. So Iowa State entered this week. They had only allowed 5 rushes of 20 yards or more all week long. OU pops off 3 of them today. Kenny Brooks has another 19-yard rush. Otherwise, it would have been 4. And they end up with 206 yards on the ground. Kenny Brooks rushes for 6.8 yards per carry, gets over 100. But it wasn't a consistent, it was possession-to-possession thing. When you think about it, the next-to-last possession, Oklahoma, 5 rushes, goes right down the field. Kennedy Brooks averages 9 yards per carry in the 4th quarter alone, large part to what he did there. Then 1 possession later, Iowa State came down the field. Now 28-21, you're looking for a response. Caleb Williams gets stuff behind the line of scrimmage. Kennedy Brooks, same thing. He said he wasn't patient enough there on that last run. So it's something they'll have to mop up. But all in all, if you just look at it, 206 yards on the ground, that'll do. Kennedy Brooks, like I said, 6.8 yards per carry, that'll do. They're going to have that next week or into any bowl game they play, even if they fall short next week and Baylor goes to the Big 12 Championship instead. It's a tough road ahead for Oklahoma, and they're going to have to figure out how to run the ball, because that opens up so much in Lincoln Riley's offense. The play-action game, if you're not running the ball, it doesn't matter. You saw that in Waco. It didn't pan out today for the Sooners, but like John said, Oklahoma State, very good defense. They just attack you a different way. It might actually end up being better for Caleb Williams on some plays, will be a lot worse on others. But if the running game's going, it at least opens that possibility of one-on-one finding receivers down the field next week. But it's a tough sled no matter what they do. We'll just have to see how they handle the pressure in Stillwater.
Yeah, you're going to have to be able to run the football, and it's not something you want to say going into Game 12 next week, but it's been inconsistent, and it feels like you're still trying to find, even Lincoln Riley trying to find that just groove, that rhythm of it. They had that drive where they're going right down, and it's 3rd and 2, and then they throw it 2 times and come up empty, you know what I mean? You see a lot of that.
Did the field goal again?
Burkich is broken. The burrito,
it killed him. It's dead.
I don't know what it did. I don't know what was in that burrito, but it infected his foot. He doinks a short one today. He hasn't made a field goal in 2 weeks now, and since that burrito kicking.
Hey,
coincidence?
Still 4 for 4 on extra points. No kicks out of bounds today. That's actually a step forward.
He was better today than last week.
Look, all in all, the special teams was awful today.
Yeah.
Michael Turk was good. Outside of that, you have a muffed punt recovered by OU. Mario Williams on the kickoff recovered it himself. You allow the fake punt, the missed field goal. maybe a special teams coordinator is needed on this team.
Yeah.
West chased down the punt returner.
I was going to
Yeah,
say
that
was one play that was huge. Lincoln Riley said the Jalen Redmond play was the biggest play of the game, but that Trey West tackle was the second biggest play of the game in his mind because there was a lot of room on that side. This game may go differently at the end if Trey West, an offensive player, a receiver, doesn't make that tremendous tackle in the open field. All right, guys, that's it. We're done here in Norman for the season. This was the last home game. Obviously, all the seniors said their goodbyes, had senior day, had the 2000 National Championship team here as well, so that was kind of cool.
Bob.
It was a very big game. Bob was here. It was a festive day in Norman. Big Noon Bob. And Oklahoma gets the win. 28-21, they go to 10-1. Another 10-win season for Lincoln Riley and the Sooners. But next up, the toughest game they'll played so far this year, quite simply, in Stillwater, Boone Pickens Stadium, Oklahoma State, that unbelievable defense. I can't wait. It's going to be just a madhouse in Stillwater next Saturday night. Going to be a whole lot of fun. If Oklahoma State can win tonight, that'll be a top 12, 11 showdown. Going to be a lot of fun. And it's potentially for a spot in the Big 12 championship game for Oklahoma. If Baylor loses today, which that game kicked off as we record this like 30 minutes ago, if Baylor loses to Kansas State, it's a moot point. But we'll see. We'll see. It's hard to project. This conference is wacky. That's what we know. Oklahoma State next Saturday. Be sure to keep up with allsooners.com. Tons of post-game coverage from this game. All the coaches, all the players, everything they had to say, all the great stuff these guys wrote, highlight videos of the game, and, of course, our post-game podcast, which we're going to go record, I think, right now. And then it'll be ready Sunday morning for you on allsooners.com. All right, guys, that's it from Norman for now. For Ryan Chapman and John Hoover, I'm Josh Callaway.